everybody, welcome back to I Heart Cross Stitch. My name is Andrea and thank you for joining me today. Today is Monday, February 15th, 2016, and I have a lot to share with you. First, I want to talk about some of the people that I've been watching on FlossTube. As you may remember, in my first video I mentioned that I took like a 15-year break from cross stitching, and you know how like when you haven't eaten in a really long time and you finally get to eat and you're just like, you know, so starving that you just like consume and consume. That's how it's kind of been with me since I started cross stitching again. Next month will be my 1-year anniversary of picking the cross stitching back up. I started cross stitching again in March of last year, and it seems like you know, I started slowly with just one project, and then in the summertime when I started joining cross stitch Facebook groups, and my eyes were opened as to the possibilities in the world of cross stitch and seeing how everybody does things, I just started taking in more and taking in more, and then, you know, watching everybody's FlossTube videos, it just seems like you know, I talked about that before, how I just watch a video and then I just keep watching, like I binge watch people. So the people that I've been binge watching since my last video, well, there are way too many to name, but I have a few off the top of my head. The first one is Tapestry. She and I have similar tastes in that she also loves Paul Levon, so she's a girl after my own heart. She's done several Paul Levon projects, and I think that's pretty cool. So if you haven't seen Country Tapestry's videos, go ahead and check her out if you're into that kind of thing. Also, another new FlossTuber that I am so much in love with her videos and her projects that she has is Kowgirlkate Paints Aplenty. If you have not seen any of her videos, you can stop watching mine. Go ahead and stop watching mine. And it's Kowgirlkate, but it's spelled with a K, so it's K-O-W, Girl Kate with a K, Paints Aplenty. She is so talented. She cross-stitch and she paints and she repurposes furniture and things, and oh my gosh, the list goes on and on. And I could go on and on and on and on about all of the things that she can do. So go watch her videos and then come back and finish mine. Alright, so we're going to get into WIPs really quick. Oh, and wait, I'm going to go back to the FlossTube just for a second. I have a tendency to like to do things in certain order, and when it comes to FlossTube, I have all of the channels that I'm subscribed to arranged in alphabetical order. So I've been watching everybody in alphabetical order, and then because I subscribe to different channels all the time. So for instance, I was binge watching Pam Reed's videos, and then I subscribed to a whole bunch of people who their channels were before Pam Reed's videos, since they were alphabetically before. So I had to go back and watch their videos and then come back to Pam Reed's videos and finish watching hers. So anyhow, that's how I do things. And right now I'm binge watching Stitch and Fish. So I'm finally in the S's, and there are a lot of FlossTubers with FlossTube channels that begin with the letters S and T that I cannot wait to watch, but I have to go in order because I'm just weird that way. So anyhow, I'm going to get to my WIPs, and I'm going to go in kind of the same order that I've been going in. Now, when I first started cross stitching again in March of last year, I had one WIP. Just one WIP. And then I started Blue Butterfly, and then I started Flowers in a Vase, and then Stitcher's Retreat. And guess how many WIPs I have now? 10. I have 10 WIPs. Went from 1 to 10 in the course of a year. So that just shows you what you guys do to me. Alright, so let's get to it. First, WIP Paris Market. This is what it will look like when it's finished. And if you can't hear me, I'm so sorry. I don't really have that lot of a voice. I suppose I could speak up, but when I watch my videos back, I watch them on my Kindle, and I don't have a hard time hearing myself, but if you have a hard time hearing me, can you please let me know in the comments so that in my next videos I'll make an effort to speak louder. But here is Paris Market, and you know, after looking at this, I realized that there really isn't that much back stitching as I thought before. Really, the only back stitching that I'm going to have to worry about is in the buildings. There's not really that much otherwise. All of these flowers, however, there is like a crazy amount of French knots. Like, it's insane, the amount of French knots that this calls for. And that's a Dimensions Gold Collection kit. It came with 18 count Aida, so that's what I'm working on. And here is my progress. So let's see if I can back up a little bit. So this is it in its entirety so far. I believe the last time I made a video, I had worked up to this area right here, or maybe this. I was just starting to get into the tree, and now I'm getting more into the tree, and I'm starting this little restaurant. If you look here, see there's this little restaurant right here, and I'm getting into that. That's what this little piece is. So when I have this in my rotation, I work on it for 3 days, and I've been working on it for 3 days, just the regular cross stitching. I'm thinking about working on it regular cross stitching for 2 days, and then the third day going back and doing the back stitching, so that I can kind of get myself caught up with that, and also so that when I'm done with the cross stitching part of it, all of the back stitching will be done as well, and then I'll just have to focus on the French knots. Now, I remember a couple of videos ago I was talking about how this was annoying me, and I was trying to figure out why this project was annoying me so much, because I'm so much in love with it, and I finally realized why. I really, really do not like half stitch. I don't care for it. And all of the sky is half stitch, and these buildings here are half stitch, and it's not really my favorite thing to do. I know some people like it, and some don't, and it's not really something I care for. It doesn't give me half stitching doesn't give me the kind of satisfaction and pleasure as cross stitching does. I don't know, that kind of sounds weird, but it is what it is. So that's something it seems like each project I'm learning something about myself, or about my stitching tastes, or, you know, expanding my stitching world a little bit. So this one is teaching me that I really don't like half stitch. And there are some places in here that call for half stitches, and I just can't do it. So I've just been putting in whole stitches, and you really can't tell. At least I can't see that you can tell. Also, I don't like leaving space that's blank Aida. Like, if you look here, this building, you can see it's white, and then these little white patches on the ground. Sorry, it's kind of out of focus. There we go. That's where you just don't leave any, there's no stitches at all. You just leave it. and it's just blank Ada. You can kind of like see the holes. I don't like that. So I'm kind of thinking about stitching that like white. Well, I already did with the building. This was supposed to be white, and I didn't make it white. Well, actually, it wasn't supposed to be white at all. It was just supposed to be blank, like no stitches at all, and I just couldn't do it. And this building too was supposed to be no stitches at all, and I don't know, my stitching sensibilities just wouldn't allow me to do that. So that's that. All right, so next we have blue butterfly, and this is what it'll look like when it's finished. I'm sure it'll get finished one of these days. It's going to take me forever, because I used to stitch on this because I have this 3-day rotation. I work on a project for 3 days and then I switch 3 days, switch 3 days, okay? So this was getting 3 days of my time, and I decided that there was no way I could do that anymore. If I made myself stitch on this for 3 days, I would end up hating it, and I wouldn't want to continue working on it, and even 2 days is too much. So this gets 1 stitch a day for me, and it's because it is so confetti heavy. I mean, it is like seriously crazy confetti, which makes it more detailed and more rich in color and everything like that. And I completely understand the reason for the confetti. It's just not really my favorite thing. So, and I think that the last time, you know what, I'm holding this wrong. Oh my gosh. It's like this. Anyhow, I think that the last time I made a video, am I still holding that wrong? No, that's right. I think the last time I made a video, I don't even know where I was. I think that I might have been, I think that this might be new. Yeah, this is probably new. Just this little bit. So, there's my progress on blue butterfly. And, don't really have that much to say about that one. I'm not out of love with it. I still love it. I really love the colors, and I love what it will look like when it's done. It's just, it's very tedious, and it's the only WIP that I have that I'm working on using my Kindle, and I don't like that. It will be the last time that I ever use my Kindle to work a cross-stitch pattern. I like to use paper charts, and I thought that I would try to do it on the Kindle this time, you know, with the digital thing, and it's just not for me. I work on, you know, I stare at a computer screen, 2 computer screens actually, all day long, and the last thing that I want to do when I'm done with work is look at another screen, except if I'm watching FlossTube, but that's a different story. And I can't watch FlossTube when I'm working on Blue Butterfly because I'm using my Kindle to, you know, work the cross stitch. So I'm going to do the first page of Blue Butterfly using my Kindle, and then when I go to stitch using the second page, I'm going to print it out. Alright, so flowers in a vase. Did I mention that Blue Butterfly was a Heaven and Earth design? If you don't know that, it's a Heaven and Earth design. So I think I might have forgot to mention that, but this is Flowers in a Vase. I got it from the, I always forget whether it's July or August, issue of Just Cross Stitch, and like I said before, the picture doesn't do it justice. Way more beautiful stitched up in person. I'm working on this fabric, the Charles Craft Monaco 28 count antique white. And sorry, here is my progress. I've made a lot of progress because in January, there was 31 days in January, and So the last 4 days in January, this was up in my rotation, and on January the 31st, instead of switching to something else, I just did this one for an extra day. I loved it. So here's my progress on, oh gosh, I'm sorry, I probably should have had this ready. Alright, there we go. Alright, so here is my progress, and let me move this out of the way. A little bit of a parking there. So here is the giant flower, and I have, this is all new. I was beginning to work on this in my last video, so I have this leaf done, and I'm working on this beautiful orange flower, and I finished out the top of this giant flower, and I'm going to be working on some other stuff here. I'll go back. So this is the thing I've been working on, I think. Yeah, this thing, and so this is what I'm going to do next. These two, I'm going to do this next, and this, and then probably come down here. So it may not look really great in this picture, but it is turning out so lovely, I think. I love that orange with the greens, and let me tell you, this, I don't think I've mentioned this before, but this pattern uses a lot of blended threads where you put two different colors together, and I wanted to show you, oh, I don't have it with me, but a lot of the threads in that are blended threads, and it doesn't bother me at all. I know some people don't like it, but it doesn't bother me at all. I actually like it sometimes because it adds a beauty to the project that it wouldn't be there if the threads weren't blended that way. Alright, so that one, by the way, Flowers in a Vase, it definitely gets 3 days of stitchy time. So Paris Market gets 3 days, Flowers in a Vase gets 3 days, Blue Butterfly gets 1 day, and then I'll tell you what I do on the other 2 days. Those are coming next. Alright, so next we have Stitcher's Retreat. This is a Heaven and Earth design, and I don't think I've ever mentioned the name of the artist, but his name is Delphin, and I have no idea how to pronounce his last name. So I'm just going to show it to you. Delphin E. I'm just going to say that. I'm sure it's pronounced very beautifully. And here's Stitcher's Retreat. Of course, as you know, I'm not stitching the top. And I'll just show you really quick. Oh my goodness, this is a monstrosity. This fabric is huge, but this is where I am so far, and as you can see, there is a lot. This was kind of like brown and a little bit of black, and then I got through this big, gosh, I'm trying to see where is the best shading of the light that you can see this. There we go. That's good light right there. As you can see, there's a lot of brown, and then it went into this mass of black, and then a little bit of green, and then gray. Gray, gray, gray. Right now I'm in this mass of gray, and I will tell you, this project is teaching me that I do not like gray. I don't like stitching gray at all. I'm kind of like one of those people that color can kind of like affect my mood sometimes, and at the middle to end of January, I worked on this for 3 days, and it was 3 whole days of nothing but 2 different shades of gray. And at the end of the 3rd day, I felt like so, I don't want to say depressed or anything, but I just felt so out of sorts. I just wasn't, I don't know, it just got me in a gunk or something. But I wanted to talk a little bit about how I cropped that and the calculations and everything. I said that I would do that in a separate video, but I never got around to doing that, so I apologize to the people who were curious as to how I went about cropping it. But I'm just going to show just really quickly. See the X? I'm not doing the X, I'm doing everything below the X. So what I did was, let me get out my handy dandy notebook. So this pattern is originally 625 stitches wide by 749 stitches high. So what I did first, the first thing I did was, using those dimensions, I said, okay, well, how big will the fabric be on 18 count? How big will it be on 22 count? How big will it be on 28 count? You know, so on and so forth. And so I wrote all that down, and I really didn't like how huge it was going to be. And so I looked at the pattern and I was like, you know, the top really, it really is not that important to me. Everything above the lamp, I really don't have to stitch that in order to be happy with the project. So I said, okay, and it's very clear. It's very clear. When if you have this pattern, and I don't know if you've printed it out or if you have a digital copy, you can clearly see where the end of the frame is. So for me, that was 160 rows. So if you think about it, columns are vertical, rows are horizontal. So the first 160 rows got X'd out. Got X'd out. So I'm starting on row 161. At the bottom, I am cutting out 49 rows. So if you add 160 plus 49 equals 209. The height of this design is originally 749 stitches high. So if you subtract 209, that leaves you with 540. Okay, so I chopped off 209 rows. So it went from 749 stitches high to 540. And then, then I did the calculations. I did the calculations again. Okay, well, on this size, you know, this count fabric, how big will it be? So on and so forth. And I still, I needed to make it less wide. So I needed to take some off the side, because I took some off the top and bottom, but I needed to take some off the side to get it to shrink a little bit this way. And I needed to make it less wide. So I looked at the chart again and I thought to myself, okay, what can I get rid of on the sides? And I really, really like the light and how it falls on this chair, and I really like her shawl that's coming down this chair. I really liked that. This was not important to me. So this privacy screen where this this edge is, if you were to look on the pattern, either printed out or digital pattern, you can clearly see where this partition is. You can clearly see where that is, because it's easy to see where this is, and you can clearly see where the back of her body is and where this is. So everything that's on this side of that line is not going to be stitched. So that would be taking, looking at my notes, 49, taking 49 columns off the right side. So the original stitch count widthwise is 625. You take, what did I say? 45. Take 45 columns off the right, and that leaves you with 580. So I ended up with 580 stitches wide, 540 stitches high. I redid all of my calculations, and I think that it came to 39 stitches wide. No, it came to 39 inches wide by 36 inches high. The dimensions of the fabric, well, I don't know, the dimensions of the fabric, the dimensions of the piece, plus 3 or 4 inches, I forget. Anyhow, I found a piece of fabric on 123 Stitch that was very, very sufficient to cover all of that. I'll have quite a bit left over, and I don't have a scroll frame or a millennium frame or any kind of frame. I've never used one of those before. I'm not really interested in purchasing anything like that unless I've tried it. So if I went over to someone's house that has a frame of some sort and I tried it and I liked it, then I would probably invest in something like that. But for right now, the Q-snap is working for me. And what I do is I have these hair clips. That I use to hold the fabric, because I had to unroll it because I kind of wanted to show. So this is, I think it's 2 pages. Could be 3, I don't remember. I am working on page, I'm starting the 3rd page right now, so this is 2 pages worth. But it's not 2 full pages, it's just the bottom. See, I'm not doing that, but I am doing this. So this is how wide it's going to be. Well, this is how wide the fabric is. Okay, so see, we have all of this. It's very long, very wide, and it is huge. Huge piece of fabric. So, I know, all of you are like seeing me manhandle this fabric and you're like, oh my god, what's she doing? But I don't care. It's mine. I can treat it however I want. It's fine. It's very sturdy. Ada. It's not fragile in the least bit. So, there's Stitcher's Retreat. And Stitcher's Retreat gets 2 days. I can't do 3 days of gray. Maybe when I get into more of the exciting colors, the blues, the greens, the oranges, the yellows, I might be more interested in dedicating 3 days to that, but right now it just gets 2 days of my time. So, that was 4 WIPs, and I have 10. So would you like to see the rest? Let me show you. Alright, so in December, when I started Stitcher's Retreat, I thought to myself, I need to write all of this down so I don't get confused as to what I would like to be working on when. So I have one of those planners. It's like a little planner calendar thing, and I just, write down at the end of, like, let's say for the end of January, at the end of January I would fill in February's calendar with what I would like to do on those days. And so normally I would write BB for Blue Butterfly, and Blue Butterfly would get 3 days, or Stitcher's Retreat would get 3 days, and that's not how it is anymore. So the 2 days for Blue Butterfly and the 1 day for Stitcher's Retreat that I would normally be working those, I work on one of these little ones. So Paris Market, Blue Butterfly, Flowers in a Vase, Stitcher's Retreat, they're kind of like my 4 main ones. And then I have these other little ones that I'm working on. And they get worked, since there are 5 of them, they get worked once a month, pretty much. Just 1 day. They get 1 stitchy day, and that's because I'm not in any kind of rush with them. They'll get done when they get done, except for one of them. One of them has a deadline, but I have plenty of time to do that. So I'm going to start with my closet treasures. Good Neighbors from Paula Vaughn. And I am finished with this except for the back stitching. I need to finish it. And in my last video, I had done the house and the tree, this house and this tree. So what I did was I had started working on this column, and I went ahead and finished it up until this point. And that's all I've done. That's all I worked on, was just finishing that column. And what I have to do next, what I have to do next is right here. See how there's that beautiful vine? I have to put in lazy daisies in there. And I've never done lazy daisies before. And I'm going to have to watch a video to see how to do them. I know that Mary Corbett has like a tutorial video on how to do lazy daisies, so I'm going to have to check that out. So this gets one stitchy day. And for those of you who may not have seen my previous video, I worked on this I finished the main part of the stitching probably back in 2000, the year 2000. And I love it. This is probably my most favorite thing that I've ever done. And there is when I say a lot of backstitching on this, I am not kidding. There's a tremendous amount of backstitching left to do. So much so that I'm just not stressing out about it. I'm just doing it one day at a time, and it'll get done when it gets done. Alright, my next closet treasure that I found when my husband cleaned out the closet is the baby Afghan that I started for my son when I was pregnant with him. He's 14 now, so now I'm working on it for my 4-year-old son. I have 2 children, 2 boys. One's 14 and one's 4. Yeah, they're best friends, for real. They're best friends, for real. So, and I love smelling this because when it came out of the closet, I had to wash it. And I washed it in, Gain laundry detergent. Everybody gasped. I just soaked it. I didn't put it in the washing machine or anything. I just got this big plastic bin and filled it up with cold water and put a little Gain laundry detergent in it, and it was wonderful, and it smells great. If you like Gain laundry detergent, then you would like the smell of this. So, like I said, I've done this panel. I did these 2 panels while I was pregnant with my teenage son, and I have been trying to work on this, trying to get this finished, I should say, and this project is teaching me that I do not like stitching white on white. And I'm using 3 strands of floss on this, and it's not an Aida fabric, it's more of an even weave, and I'm not stitching over 2, I'm stitching over 1, so I'm finding that some of the stitches are wanting to slide underneath, and I'm having to be really, really, really careful, but I don't care for stitching white on white. This is a white blanket, the lamb is white, the clouds are kind of white with a little bit of yellow every once in a while, and it's just kind of boring. But I really want to finish it. I really want to finish it, so I'm not giving up on it. But that's what this is teaching me. Okay. Oh, and just in case you were wondering, this is what it will look like when it's done. This is the next, because there's 5 panels, this is the next one that I will do, and then this one, and it'll be finished. This was in the May 2000, I'm sorry, not May, March, May, and July 2001. I'm sorry. March 2000. I can't see. May 2000. May 2000, and then this is July 2001. I wonder why there's such a big jump between May 2000 and then July 2001 that they have these patterns in. I don't know, it's weird. Alright, so now this one, I am finished with this completely. I'm just waiting for it to get framed. So this is not a WIP that I'm about to show you. It's a finish from forever ago. But in my last video, I had the orientation of the camera more vertical. Now I have it horizontal, so you'll be able to see this better. So that is Placid Picnic. I finished this quite some time ago, and I just haven't gotten it framed yet. But I love this. It's one of it's my second favorite thing that I've ever finished. So I just wanted to show you that again. Alright, so now for my little projects. I'm not going to go in any particular order. And I'm sorry, I'm going to make a little bit of noise for a second while I get these out of their bags. This one is Blue Toile Teapot. Thank you to everybody who helped me know how to pronounce that correctly. And thank you, Cross Stitch Joyle, for this lovely, lovely project. And I really don't have very much done on it, and I'm pretty sure that this is how it is. I'm looking at it, I'm like, okay, where's the top, where's the bottom? But I'm pretty sure this is how it is. And I'm stitching it on 14 count Aida. It is the kind of, that's the fabric that came in a kit. This was a kit from Jannlyn, I believe. And but I'm working, it said to work on it with 2 strands, but I'm using 3 because 2 wasn't enough. So so then I was thinking I'm probably going to run out of floss. But then I was thinking, you know, all of this flowery border around, that's not really important to me. But I really love this one, so I'm probably not going to do any of these stitches all around. Probably going to stop with this dark border. And I'm thinking that I might do that in a different color. Everything inside here will be done using the floss that came with the kit, but probably this dark border will be a different color because I'm thinking I might run out of it before I start, or I don't want to run out of this dark blue as I'm working on the border, and then I would have to, you know, either get some more floss or try and find a DMC substitute. I don't want to have to do that. So I'm probably going to do the dark border in a different color, or maybe just start it off using DMC to begin with. I don't know. We'll see. Alright, that's that. The next one is sorry, trying to figure out what I'm doing. Now this, I'm going to show you the pattern because it was free, so it's fine if I show it to you. So here it is. It says, "Enjoy the wonders of nature." I'm trying to read this backwards. "For simple pleasures are there to find." I thought that that was such a nice thing. And I've already explained to you what I'm going to be doing with the colors in my previous video. And here is my progress so far. It's like this. So, I finished spring, and now I'm working on summer. I got some wonderful suggestions to fill in the empty spaces of the leaves with backstitch, to backstitch them to kind of make them pop. I thought that was a wonderful idea, so that's probably what I'm going to do. So this only gets 1 stitchy day a month for me, so I haven't made a whole lot of progress, but it's fine. Sorry. It's very difficult for me to look to my left because of my neck thing that I have, that I mentioned in one of my other videos. I need to turn my body instead of looking. Okay, I feel like I'm forgetting something. No. Alright. Alright, so in one of the cross-stitch Facebook groups that I'm in, I have this wonderful stitch-along that I joined. And usually I don't start stitch-alongs unless I'm like planning on starting that anyway, and then there's a stitch-along for it. I'm like, oh cool, there's a stitch-along for something that I'm already going to do, or already doing, or already planning to start. But this one was a little different because for the year 2016, I want this year to be different. I have some goals for 2016, and that's to get Placid Picnic framed, and I want to, just looking at my notes, I want to finish my closet treasures, the blanket, and Good Neighbors, and I want to try out some different designers. I want to like expand my stitching horizons and try new things that I've never done before. And I've always wanted to try something from Country Cottage Needleworks, and they were having a stitch along, and this is the one I chose. And this pattern, I really like it because it's really fun, it's really colorful, and it just spoke to me. So I chose this as the Country Cottage Needleworks stitch along. I chose this, Farm Fresh, and this is my progress so far. This is stitched on 28, hold on, 28 count lamb's wool Jannlyn, and I really like this fabric. I've never stitched on this kind of fabric before, and it's really nice. I really like it. And so this is where I've gotten so far. It's a fun stitch. This project is teaching me that cross stitch can be fun even if it's small, because I have a tendency to choose these, you know, huge, big, epic projects, you know, like Paris Market, and pretty much all of my WIPs that I have chosen to do are kind of like on the large side, kind of like Pam Reed said, either go big or go home. I have a tendency to be like that. You know, like my cross-stitch designs have to be big and epic and, you know, like really detailed, or, you know, whatever. And this project is teaching me that it doesn't have to be like that to be fun or to be worthwhile. This is worthwhile to stitch. It doesn't have to be huge and epic and elaborate. A simple stitch like this has the same amount of merit, and that's what this is teaching me, and I really like that. That's that. Alright, and also the Facebook group Cross Stitch and Discuss is having another stitch along, kind of, or it's a challenge, and it's a book themed kind of thing where you had to pick something related to a book. And I chose something from Country Cottage Needleworks. It's called the Bookstore. There we go. And I really liked that one. Both Farm Fresh and the Bookstore were in my wish list to begin with, so this challenge and the stitch along were perfect reasons for me to purchase them. So they're no longer in my wish list. I'm working on them and I'm stitching on them, and this is where I got so far. I'm stitching this on 28 count linen, but it's not casual linen. It's a different kind of linen. I'm not really sure what it is. It's the one that I got from Stash Unload. I think that I talked about it in my third video, that I said that it was kind of stiff, and I really wasn't sure what kind of linen it was, and it was kind of see-through-y. I'm using that one, and I like it, although I don't think that I will I don't think that I will purchase fabric from Stash Unload again unless it's a name brand kind of fabric, like hand-dyed fabrics by Stephanie or Silk Weavers or something like that. This piece of fabric didn't have any kind of tag attached to it, except, like it had like a little handwritten thing from the seller as to the count and the type of fabric, but there wasn't any kind of brand attached to it. So I really don't know what kind of linen this is. But anyhow, I mean, I like it. It's just, it's kind of fuzzy, which is weird. When I stitch on it for a while, it kind of gets these little pieces of fuzz, and it's not coming from the floss. It's coming from the linen itself. And I'm not sure why that is or what I can do about it, if anything, but there's that. The Bookstore, this is my little beginning. And this is teaching me this, oh, where do I have it? Yes, there we go. Hold on for just a second. Where is it? Must be this one. This is teaching me that I do not like this color. Color 3032. What is that? 3032. Mocha brown? Medium? Mocha brown? I don't know. I don't like it. This is probably one of the worst colors for me. There are probably some of you out there that are watching that love this color, but I do not. I don't like it at all. I think it's awful. And it's not used that much in this project, just a little bit for the brick. Right here, this little brick, these brick there and there. It's used for that, and I am glad there's just a little bit of that color in here because it's not a color I care for, and I have to use metallics in this, and so I don't know what I was thinking. I bought this spool of DMC metallic thread. I don't know if that was the smartest thing. I haven't used it yet, but it's, look at this. Look what it's doing. It's starting to fray. Of course, you guys say that happens, and do I don't know how to use this. Do I have to, like separate it like I do regular floss? Should I just go to Joann's and buy some acrylic of the same color? I don't really know what to do with this. I'm probably going to do this last. I'm going to do all of the regular stitching first, and then I'm going to do the metallics last. So if I could, give me some input as to what you think about this and what I should do. If anything, if I should separate the strands or not, or if I should just pitch this and get acrylic. I'd like to know what you think. Okay, is that it? I think that's it. I don't think I have anything else. If I do, I'll show you next time. Alright, so, like I was saying, oh my gosh, I forgot my purchases, and I have to find them. I'm sorry, just give me 1 second. I have this huge pile of cross-stitch projects, and I had all of my stuff, and here they are. Okay, here we go. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so if all you wanted to see was my WIP updates, thank you for watching. If you would like to see what I've purchased, then stick around. I have been on a Paula Vaughn kick, and I've done 3. I have finished 2 Paula Vaughn projects, and I'm working on finishing the 3rd. And I really, really, really love her design. She's my favorite designer. And I just love her stuff. So I'm going to show you some of the things I have gotten. I have this one. It's called Thoughts of Spring by Paula Vaughn. And I really like this a lot. except I don't like what it looks like on the picture. To me, on the picture, it looks really messy. I don't know. I don't like the model stitch picture. I know that if I were to stitch this, I think it would come out differently. And I think that the model is stitched on Belfast linen, 32 count Belfast linen. And I think that if I were to stitch this, I'm not really sure what I would do, whether I would do 18 count Aida or maybe 28 count linen or an even weave. But I like that. I think it's pretty. Again, I would like to stitch this. I don't know if I would hang it. And I have this. It's called Summers Remembered. I think I got this from the Stash Unload group on Facebook, and I like that. It has a quilt. You know, I don't quilt, but I love quilts. I love sleeping under a quilt, and I love looking at them, and they're so beautiful to me. They're very comforting. I think that's why. I have this one, Yesterday's Dream. I thought that was really pretty. And again, another quilt in there. And you know what? I think so, yes. Sorry, backtracking one. Summers Remembered, it didn't come with just this. It comes with two designs, this and the one on the back. I have gotten the porch swing. I think that will be lovely. I will absolutely hang this when I get around to stitching it. However, I think if I do this, when I do this, I think I'm going to make some changes. Maybe to the house, maybe not the floorboards so much, but I think I would maybe change the color tone a little bit. And I got this. I am so excited about this. And the day that I start this will be a happy day. Victory Garden. Isn't that beautiful? Look at that. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. That is going to be so much fun to stitch. Is it coming out okay? And I feel like it's kind of blurry. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get a good picture of this. I'm sure you've probably seen it before. This is going to be so much fun to stitch. It is quite large, however. It's going to take me some time to do. And I am not going to wait to the end to backstitch this one. I'm going to backstitch as I go. I was totally enabled by Letitia, the Crafty Curator, and Jessie Marie to get this. However, I could kick myself because I remember seeing this. I remember seeing this so many times in the I don't know, when did I see this? The late 80s, the early 90s? When was this published? Just pause for a second. I don't know. Just 94. Okay. That's what I thought. I knew it was the early 90s or late 80s, early 90s. But I remember seeing this so many times going into Joanne Fabrics. I don't think that I went into Michael's very much in the 90s, but I remember seeing this so many times, and I never got it. And so I have been familiar. When Jessie Marie and Letitia showed this, I was like, oh my gosh, there's that book that I saw so many times, you know, way back then. See, in 94, I was 21. So, yeah, I was definitely stitching when I was 21. And I remember seeing this, and I remember wanting it, but when you're 21 years old, $20, for me, that was a lot of money to spend on a cross-stitch book. My husband and I got married when I was 19 years old, and my husband was 21, I think. 22? He was either 21 or 22, or 23. He's 4 years older than me, so 20, 21, 22. He was 23. He was 23. I was 19. And we were so young and so broke, and like $20 was a tremendous amount of money to us at that time in our life, and at that, 94. So there was no way I could spend $20 on this cross-stitch book way back then. And so that's probably why I never got it. But I really wanted it very much back then. And the fact that I have it now makes me feel so happy. So, so happy. And I am going to absolutely get so much joy and satisfaction in stitching these designs. Alright. Now, I mentioned in my last video that I saw this design on Kelly Jo Crafts on one of her videos, and it was just like a lightning strike. It was like I had to have this, and I got it. I found it on eBay, and I got it in the mail, and it was just like this. When I am finished, there's no way I can start a new project right now. 10 is the max for me. I would love so very much to start this, but I need to finish something. I can't handle more than 10. 10 is my limit. So as soon as I finish something, this is next in the lineup. And it's called Amid Amish Life. I'm trying to find a picture that I know you all have seen it before. Oh, here we go. Okay. So here it is, and it's charted to be stitched in 3 separate designs and framed separately, but when I stitch it, I'm going to stitch it all together, so it'll be framed all together in one piece. And I cannot even begin to tell you how much I love this and how much joy I already know I'm going to absolutely love every single moment of doing that. And I've studied what I do before I start a design of a cross stitch pattern is I study it. I study the chart. I spend quite some time actually studying the chart and all that goes into the chart, or all of the pages and all design. I kind of work it out in my head. I kind of like stitch it in my head before I actually stitch it. Like, this is where I'm going to start, and this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this next, and I'm going to go here. I kind of like plan it out in my head where what I'm going to do and how I'm going to work out things. And right now I'm finding a lot of enjoyment in studying that chart. So even though I can't start it right now, actually I'm choosing not to start it. I don't want to say I can't start it because I can if I chose to, but I'm choosing not to start it. I'm getting a lot of pleasure in studying it. And my last thing that I want to show you that I have acquired is this magazine. I love this magazine. I'm probably going to get every issue of it going forward. Cross Stitch Gold. I forgot who I saw. What did I see? I don't know whether it was somebody's video. I think it was probably somebody's video. They showed a design from Cross Stitch Gold, and I thought, oh my gosh, that is beautiful. And so I went. I went around. Like, I went to Barnes & Noble's. They didn't have it. I went to Michael's. They didn't have it. I went to Joann Fabrics. They didn't have it. However, the lady said, well, we don't have it right now, but our magazine lady is coming tomorrow, so if you want to, I can ask her if she has the latest one, and I'll set it aside for you. And I said, oh my gosh, yes, thank you so much. So she did. And then they called me the very next day, and they said, we have your magazine. So I went and got it, and I love it. Like, I seriously love this magazine. I can't even tell you. So I'm just going to show you some of the things in here. It is the February-March-ish 2016. So February-March 2016 Cross Stitch Gold. I'm not going to stitch this one, but I thought it was very pretty. It is called Art Deco Lady, I think. I think she's really pretty. It's not really my style, not something that I would stitch, but I thought she was very pretty. Yeah, Art Deco Lady. And sorry, I should probably be more prepared. This is a pillow that's in here. I'm not going to stitch this, but I thought it was really pretty. I know, surprising, it's flowers and I'm not stitching it, but I'm just not drawn to it as something to stitch. So there's that. I am so sorry. I just realized this video is an hour. And if you like long videos, yay! And if you don't like long videos, I'm sorry. But this is what is on the cover of the magazine, and I am so in love with this. I love this. I will absolutely be stitching this. It's very hard. I really love Amid Amish Life, but this is like a close second. So it's kind of like, Amid Amish Life or this one? Going back and forth, but no. This one can wait a little bit. But I love it. And you know what? It calls for the key. The color key is all anchor. And I don't have anchor, so I'm kind of like deciding, should I do this? Should I go to my LNS Silk Road in St. Pete and get all these anchor colors, or should I just do it in DMC? I'm kind of like leaning toward the DMC because it's the easiest for me to get, but what do you think? What do you think I should do? I already know what most of you will say, but sorry, I'm like trying to flip through here and making small talk. Okay, here we go. This next one, I think it's called Panda Family or something like that, but you know, I have a friend that loves panda bears, so as soon as I saw this, I was like, oh yes, yes, isn't that beautiful? My friend who loves panda bears is going to appreciate this so much because I'm definitely going to be stitching that for her. And what else? Oh yes, this. I thought this was very lovely. I love this. I don't have one of these in real life, and I would love to have one, so since I don't have one in real life, this will be a nice substitute until I get a real one. But it's kind of like a hutch, where you keep dishes and things like that. I don't have any kind of fancy dishes, first of all, and I don't have a piece of furniture like that, so... But I liked it. I thought it was really pretty. And I will absolutely be stitching that one day. I love this magazine. It's very rare that I find things in, because I have a subscription to Just Cross Stitch, and it's rare that I find something in there, one thing in there that I like, but to find 3 projects in one magazine that I can't wait to stitch, that is pretty impressive for me. And then they have some pictures of what's going to be in the upcoming issue, and I am already knowing I'm doing this one. Definitely doing this. Probably not in black fabric. I'll probably do it in a lighter fabric, and then do the writing in a different color other than white. And here's some more things that's upcoming. Thought those fans were pretty cool. And here's some more upcoming things, and I will definitely be doing this one. I think that's just lovely. Lovely. And it says something around here. It says, all things grow with love. Rose, poppy, sunflower, tulip, pansy. So I thought that was really pretty. You see that? That'll be a fun little thing to stitch. See? It doesn't have to be big and epic to be worthwhile. I can take enjoyment and pleasure and pride in a little stitch. That's what I've been having, like, all of these aha moments this month. I'm going to make, like, a little bit of a confession. I am not a messy person by nature, but I live in a condo. It's, like, not even 1,100 square feet. It's less than 1,100 square feet. And there's 4 people in here. 2 children, a teenager, and he's not really a toddler, 4-year-old, so I guess he's like a preschooler or whatever. Anyhow, things are messy a lot here, and sometimes it gets very overwhelming, the messiness and the clutter, and it just seems like I clean something and then it's a mess again. I turn my back and there's a mess again, and sometimes I'm like, why even bother? why even bother? And I just kind of like, I just focus on my stitching and just forget about the mess, forget about the clutter. Because the mess and the clutter kind of like scream to me all at once, like, clean me, clean me, clean me. And in order to quiet my mind with that, I stitch. But it has gotten to the point where I've been stitching so much and ignoring the cleaning, kind of, not really ignoring completely. Let's just say things are way messier than I like them. Well, they were way messier than I like them. And then I thought to myself, Andrea, you are going to be stitching these beautiful pieces of art to hang on your wall. What good is it for you to hang these beautiful pieces of art in a messy house? So, that was like a really big moment for me to kind of say, you can have all of these things hanging on your wall, but if your house looks terrible, what difference does it make if you have these things hanging, if the rest looks like crap? And that's just my personal opinion for me and my home. I'm not saying anything about anyone else or, casting judgment on anybody, but that's just it for me. So I have been trying to make a concerted effort now to pay more attention to my home, so that when I do finish these things and hang them up, they'll be hung in a space that matches the beauty of the art, and just, just something that came to me. Also, some other things I wanted to talk about is this year I would like I said, I wanted to try new things and, try new designers. I don't want to do the same designer over and over. Like, once I'm done with these country cottage needleworks, I probably won't do another country cottage needlework design until I've tried somebody else, like Little House Needleworks or, something else. And I would really like to stitch a mirabilia. I'm just going to call it a mira. Okay, I would really like to stitch a mira. But there are so many. There are so many that are so beautiful. And I'm drawn to so many of them. I have kind of wheedled it down to either Spring Queen or Roses of Provence to be my first one. I'm really drawn to Spring Queen because I love the way she's sitting. I love her dress. I love her aspect. And I think that will be really fun to stitch. I also like Roses of Provence because I love flowers, and I really love everything about that. But I've never beaded before, and I've never worked with any kind of specialty threads, so I don't think that Spring Queen requires any kind of specialty threads. If anybody has ever stitched her, could you let me know how much beading there is? And also, for you that have done miras, is it required that you do the beading? Is it optional, or is it something that is required as part of the design? Could you stitch a mira without beads and it look perfectly fine and equally beautiful, or are the beads necessary? I think for some of them are, like Ida, the one mira that's holding something and it's like these jewels from one end to the other. I think that you would definitely need the beads and the treasures for that. But for Spring Queen or Roses of Provence, is the beading necessary, and is it worth it? Is it difficult to bead? I know some people like it, some people don't. I have no idea whether I like it or not because I've never done it. And so, what would you suggest I do for like a practice bead? I don't stitch ornaments, so the Mill Hill beading kits, I don't know if it's really something that I would be interested in, because I'm not really into Christmas ornaments at all. So, just wanted to see if you, tell me what you think. And is there anything else? Is there anything else? Did I forget anything? Like looking at all my stuff. I don't think there is. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate all of you. I'm running over. I never, ever, ever thought that I would do a video that was over an hour long. Thank you so much for sticking it out. If you're still watching this, thank you. I hope that you've done a lot of stitching. I hope that I've kept you company as you're stitching on one of your favorite WIPs, or maybe it's a WIP that's giving you a lot of problems and you listened to me while you were stitching. I'm glad that I was able to join you in that. Sometimes I listen to you guys when I cook dinner. I listen to your FlossTube while I'm cooking dinner, and I'll happen to glance over if you say, "Oh, look at this," and I'll look over. So if you were making dinner and watching this, if you were stitching and watching this, whatever, thank you so much, and I really appreciate it. So if you haven't subscribed yet, I invite you to subscribe. If you have, thank you for doing so. If you like my video, you can go ahead and give a thumbs up. And if you don't, you can give a thumbs down if you choose to. And I hope that you all have a wonderful day. Again, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. And don't forget to only stitch what you love and love what you stitch. Bye!